right, it is 11 o'clock. The public hearing on the draft state energy plan will now begin. If we can go to the next slide, please. So welcome to the State Energy Planning Board hearing on the draft state energy plan. My name is Jeff Demansky, and I'm with Arch Street Communications, a firm that's assisting the State Energy Planning Board with managing public hearings. I'll begin with some housekeeping items. First, while you are welcome to listen to the hearing by phone dial-in, the technology platform today does not allow comments made by phone-only connections. So if you wish to comment, please rejoin the hearing using the Zoom meeting link that you were provided at registration. Again, if you want to make a comment and you're just on your phone, you need to dial into the Zoom meeting link. Non-English language support is available at this hearing. To enable audio language translation for Spanish, click on the interpretation or Spanish icon button function at the bottom. American Sign Language interpreters will be spotlighted at the top of your screen throughout the hearing. For additional language support, if you'd like to see closed captioning, click on the closed caption or CC show function icon at the bottom to turn on closed captioning in the language of your choice. There are a number of opportunities and options for language support. If you need technical assistance, please use the Q&A function to request assistance. Now I will turn the floor over to Doreen Harris, Chair of the State Energy Planning Board, to open this hearing. Chair Harris.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm Doreen Harris, Chair of the Planning Board and President and CEO of the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority, or NYSERDA. Thank you to all who have joined us virtually today. As you've heard, this is a hearing to accept public comment on the draft state energy plan that was approved by the State Energy Planning Board for release on July 23rd, 2025. This hearing is being recorded and professionally transcribed as part of the hearing record. The recording and transcript will be posted to the State Energy Plan website as soon as practicable after this hearing. With me are several members of the State Energy Planning Board, which directs the development of the plan that we are here to discuss today. I'd like to ask each board member to introduce themselves, starting with Rory Christian, Chair of the New York Public Service Commission.
Thank you, Doreen, and good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming today to this important meeting. Looking forward to the discussion we're going to have as we go through the state energy planning process. It's a very important topic affecting everyone's life and livelihood, and looking forward to hearing what feedback we received and ultimately incorporating that into the plan. So thank you for the opportunity, Doreen, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Next, I'll turn to Rich Dewey, the New York Independent System Operator.
Thank you, Doreen. Good morning, Doreen and everyone. My name is Rich Dewey. I'm the President and CEO of the New York Independent System Operator. We manage the bulk power system for New York and administer the wholesale energy markets. Looking forward to hearing all the comments today. Thank you.
Thank you. And last, I'd like to introduce Bill Suggs, the Senate appointee to the Planning Board.
Thank you, Doreen. Good morning, everyone. I look forward to hearing some great conversation this morning and moving forward with decisions that need to be implemented to change our quality of life or improve our quality of life, should I say. Thank you.
Thank you. And as you see here, there's a number of other members of the Planning Board, not all of whom are here today, but we have been meeting for approaching a year leading up to these hearings. So I want to thank each of them for their involvement and commitment to this process. So I'll begin today by providing some background on the state energy plan and opportunities to provide input on the draft plan. Then Carl Maas, Senior Vice President for Policy Analysis and Research at NYSERDA, will present an overview of the draft state energy plan. Afterward, we'll talk through hearing logistics, including how you can comment today. This should all take about 15 minutes, and the rest of our time will be dedicated to hearing from all of you. I'll transition now to background on the state energy plan. The state energy plan provides broad policy direction that guides energy-related decision-making within the state of New York, and it includes an outlook through 2040 with recommendations for meeting future energy demands that prioritize an energy system that is reliable, clean, and affordable while supporting economic development, equity, and a healthy environment. And the plan certainly does build on our significant progress as a state toward realizing a clean energy economy across all sectors of our economy. The State Energy Planning Board released a draft state energy plan on July 23rd, 2025, and we do encourage New Yorkers to review and provide their input through written comments or at public hearings like this hearing today. Public input received in response will be used by the board to develop the final state energy plan, which is anticipated to be published by the end of this year. And as you see here, this is the 5th of 10 hearings that the board is hosting. We do look forward to hearing from you today and at future hearings as you are able. To provide further insight into the draft plan, I'd like to introduce Carl Maas, NYSERDA's Senior Vice President of Policy Analysis and Research, to walk us through the draft plan's broad planning goals. Carl.
Thank you, Chair Harris, and thank you all for joining us today to share your thoughts with the Energy Planning Board. As Chair Harris has noted, the State Energy Plan serves as an opportunity to take stock of our progress, calibrate the state's energy projections considering economic and political conditions, and focus our vision on the 15 years ahead. So I'd like to begin by orienting you all to the draft plan. As this slide shows, the draft plan released for public comment consists of 2 volumes. Volume 1 is the summary. It provides an overview of our energy system today, broad planning goals, and summarizes findings and recommendations from subsequent plan chapters in Volume 2. Volume 2 consists of the topical and analytic chapters listed here. We have also developed and released 6 fact sheets on key plan topics. All are available on the State Energy Plan website. So our approach to this plan has been to focus on the following 5 overarching goals. First, to ensure a reliable, resilient, and clean energy system. Second, to ensure energy affordability and equitable access for all New Yorkers. Third, to drive economic growth. Fourth, to advance energy technology innovations. And fifth, to continue progress on economy-wide decarbonization. I'd like to spend a little time talking through each of these now. So the State Energy Plan puts forth policy considerations to ensure that our energy system can deliver abundant, reliable, resilient, and clean energy for New York. We will achieve this by maintaining a diverse mix of both supply resources and infrastructure. Diversity in our energy resources allows the states to meet our energy needs while minimizing the potential impacts of energy supply disruptions and price fluctuations in any given market. Substantial investment will be needed to modernize aging infrastructure, address hazards, and support economic development. And this is true for every energy pathway that New York could walk down, as shown in the plan. I also would like to note that we are in a time of great uncertainty in the energy sector. The analytic modeling conducted for the State Energy Plan reflects multiple scenarios to provide insights on a range of potential outcomes. Second, the plan considers affordable energy and broad access to bill-reducing energy efficiency and clean energy choices as essential for an equitable energy transition and to New York's continued prosperity through advancing community and economic development. Even as we know that the average New Yorker spends less on combined transportation and household energy expenses than the average American, as shown in this chart, we know that we need to continue to focus on further progress in energy affordability. And advancing equity in our energy and climate actions means that New York is working to ensure that all communities, and especially people within disadvantaged communities, will benefit from the state's clean energy transition. I note that federal policy and financial support have been critical to energy affordability. We therefore will need to continue to assess the evolution in federal policies over time and understand how they can impact our projections over the next 15 years. Third, access to reliable and affordable energy is essential to attract and develop new strategic industries to New York, as well as to maintain existing industry. Strategic industries like semiconductors and agribusiness have large energy needs and require access to reliable, affordable energy and long-term energy cost stabilization. As such, New York can promote economic development by meeting the needs of large energy users and investing in infrastructure and programs that can attract new industry including clean energy leaders. Our fourth goal is innovation. We see the advancement of energy innovation as a critical tool to enable New York's energy transition. Innovation can help reduce the cost of and increase the diversity of energy technologies and services, whether by investing in emerging technologies in New York or by bringing existing technologies from outside the state to our market. And fifth, clean energy faces particular external headwinds from both economic pressures and a shift in the federal government's priorities. Continued progress toward decarbonization and the clean energy economy requires a sustainable financial footing, further policy actions, and new technologies. As the federal context continues to shift, the Energy Planning Board stresses the need to be clear-eyed about what timeframes are realistic. And now I'll pass the mic back to Chair Harris. Thank you all.
Thank you, Carl. With that, we are pleased to turn to any elected officials who have joined to provide comments. Jeff, can you advise if that's the case, or should we turn to the public comments?
At this point, Chair Harris, we have no elected officials that have registered to attend or to comment today, so we can turn to the public that have registered to speak.
Very good. Jeff, please take it from here.
All right, thank you so much, Chair Harris. I'll run through the hearing logistics briefly so we can open up to hear comments. As Chair Harris said, all input we hear today will be entered into the official record and reviewed during the development of the final plan, alongside written comments. This hearing is being webcast and it's recorded and transcribed as part of the official record. I think we can, while you are welcome to listen to the hearing, as I mentioned earlier, by phone dial-in, our technology platform today does not allow comments made only by phone connection. So you do need to join the Zoom link that was shared with you when you registered. And please note that the purpose of this hearing is to hear from the public and that it is not an interactive discussion. So no comments or questions will be addressed today. We are going to hear a diversity of viewpoints from commenters and encourage everyone to please listen respectfully to all points of view. So a little bit more on the hearing logistics. Again, all comments and questions from registered commenters will be received and entered into the official record, but will not be responded to during the hearing. Attendees are encouraged to listen to all comments respectfully. Commenters will have up to 2 minutes to speak. Those who use an interpreter will have an additional minute. The hearing is being recorded and transcribed for the official record. And as mentioned, interpretation is available in both ASL, American Sign Language, and Spanish. And as mentioned previously, closed captioning is available in more than 30 languages using the Zoom or CC icon in the lower part of your screen. If you experience technical difficulties, request help using the Q&A function. Our facilitation staff are monitoring and will respond to address any issues that you're having. So, as mentioned, pre-registered commenters will be called first in the order they registered. Same-day registrants will follow in the order that their request was received. If you pre-registered, wait for your name to be called by me, and then unmute when you are invited to do so. If you are not pre-registered, to request to comment, enter your name, email, an organization you're representing, if that's applicable, and if you need interpretation support for to make comments. Please put that information, again, name, email, organization, if that's appropriate, and if you need interpretation support, into the Q&A function. And we'll put you into the queue and we'll call your name when appropriately. So now, when it's time to speak, when your name is called, the host, myself, will invite you to unmute your microphone. If you do not respond, we will skip you, but we'll return to you to see if you have become available before we end today's meeting. If you cannot finish your comment in time, all comments are accepted and have equal weight. So we definitely encourage you to submit your full comment in writing using the method that will be shown on the screen at that point in time. So the chat function is disabled for this hearing. However, if you are giving a comment, you will receive a private one-way notice in the chat that your speaking time will end in 30 seconds. So you'll get that notice for 30 seconds, and then as you approach the 2-minute mark, or as you conclude the 2-minute mark, we'll ask you to conclude. And if it's longer, again, we're going to ask you to submit your full comment in writing. And again, if you are having any technical, if you experience any technical difficulties today, request assistance using that same Q&A function, and our facilitation staff will help you quickly to make sure we resolve your issue. But again, the chat is disabled. Okay. With that, we do have the information again. If you have not registered to speak, that's available as shown on the slide right now. But now we're going to jump into the comments from the folks who have registered already to make a comment. And we are beginning with Valdi Widerpass. And that will be followed by Manisha Rain Fondacaro. But first, let me turn it and invite Valdi Widerpass to unmute and make your comment.
Hi, can you hear me?
You can, yes.
Thank you. My name is Valdi Wiederpass. I live in the Binghamton area. I'm a retired engineer, now volunteering as chair of Sierra Club Susquehanna Group. I nearly lost my job due to the billion-dollar record flood in 2011, which was worsened by climate change. It is appalling that New York State is still shirking its legal duties under its own climate law, the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act, enacted in 2019. It requires New York State to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions by 40% from 1990 levels and increase New York's electricity coming from renewable energy to 70%, all by the year 2030. Shockingly, New York State is on a trend line that will not achieve the mandated target of 70% renewable electricity until the end of this century. The current trend line is shown on a graph on page 51, published in June 2024 by the New York Independent System Operator in its 2024 Power Trends report. This graph shows growth in renewable energy as a share of generation over the 18-year span from 2005 through 2023. Extend the slope of this renewable growth as a straight line per current trend, you will see that New York will not achieve 70% renewable electricity generated on its grid for 75 more years. New York State must change its decision-making as required per Section 7 of CLCPA to prioritize meeting CLCPA objectives. Renewable energy, adequate energy storage, as well as grid improvements must be built 15 times faster in New York State so that we meet all mandated CLCPA targets, including for 2030. The governor's push for nuclear energy is reckless because nuclear power is too expensive, too toxic, too risky, and too slow to build to be a climate solution. The energy plan must be improved. Thank you.
Our next commenter is Manisha Rain Fondacaro. And just noting that while we did have, I think, nearly a dozen people pre-registered to make comment today, there is no one that is currently registered or present to make comments. But if you do want to register to make comments, as indicated, please put that information into the Q&A function. But now let me invite Manisha Rain Fondacaro to unmute and make comment, please.
Thank you. I'm Manisha Rane Fondacaro, President, Soul-Led Solutions. Interconnection process is the main bottleneck for expanding renewable energy, and that has slowed down. And with President Trump's anti-renewable energy stance, it has become even more difficult. But a simple way to ease this bottleneck is by installing municipal-owned renewable energy microgrids on water, wastewater, and industrial wastewater treatment facilities. We have 3,000 plus such facilities to host microgrids, and they could provide operational reliability services to the projects in the interconnection queue. And we could even revive the interconnection projects which were recently cancelled because of the financial reasons. This is a very simple plan, and we could work. It could help decarbonize New York State, and we can automatically hit all the disadvantaged communities by this route because the within say 30-mile radius we have over 8-10 such facilities. So no matter where you have a renewable energy or a power plant in need of interconnection service, we could provide them help through these facilities. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comment. We're checking to see if anyone else has registered to make comment or is present to make comment that has already registered. Currently seeing that there is no one that is present who registered to make comments, and we have no request yet for anyone to make comment, but we will give some time in case anyone would like to register to make comment. Again, if you would like to register to make comments, you can take a look at the chat for the instructions for the information to enter into the Q&A chat, the Q&A function box. Your name, email, the organization if applicable, and if you need language or interpretation support. Yeah, I do see that we have 3 people that have now registered to make comment and are present. The next 3 in order are Sue Yanulis, Marina Barry, and Roger Kayaza. So let me please invite Sue Yanulis to unmute and make your comment.
Hi, this is Sue Yanulis, and I live in the town of Fenner. And we are not opposed to renewable energy. We have 20 windmills currently, and we have been inundated by international companies who have taken who will take 1,500 acres of prime farmland in addition to additional farmland, of which 12 640-foot windmills are proposed in our town. We are currently an agricultural town, of which we have a number of dairy farms that are reliant on this productive prime farmland. The governor has approved another Chobani yogurt factory in Utica, of which our farmers produce the milk needed to support that business. We do not understand why the Climate Act has taken away local authority to help site these projects appropriately. There is a lot of brownfield in towns around us and in our town that could be used for these projects. We have numerous times asked for ORES to look into why these can't be sited more appropriately, but have been denied. My question is, why is it that you're pushing so forward with wind and solar when NYSO has reported that they make a very small dent in the amount of energy that's needed in our state? That is my question. And I also want to understand why you, as people who represent us.
Ma'am, thank you for your time. That your 2 minutes has expired, so please do share the remainder of your comments and questions in written form. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We're next going to turn to Marina Berry, followed by Roger Kayaza. So Marina, you're invited to unmute and to make your comment.
Thank you very much. My name's Marina Berry. I'm with the Sierra Club, and I first want to thank everybody for their work on the energy plan. But climate crisis is my #1 issue and concern. This plan is a start, but I don't feel it goes far enough. As a taxpayer and a voter, I implore all of you to think about your own children and grandchildren and what kind of world that we want to leave for them. if we don't have any air to breathe or water to drink and there's no trees left, what have we all done to our planet? I mean, money doesn't really matter then, does it? New York is a way shower, and I hope that New York can take the lead with California and show everybody the right way to go for our climate and for our world. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comment. Our next commenter will be Roger Caiazzo, followed by Elizabeth McCorvey. So at this point in time, let me invite Roger to unmute to make your comment.
My name is Roger Caiazzo. Documentation for my comments has been posted at my Pragmatic Environmentalist of New York blog. I've not seen any indication that NYSERDA is going to seriously consider stakeholder input, so I have no plan to submit written comments on all the problems I've seen in the draft. Air quality modeling is a particular expertise of mine, so I've looked at that one topic, the Public Health Impact Chapter Air Quality Modeling Analysis. The modeling methodology is new and, in my opinion, flawed because it oversimplifies inhalable particulate air quality source receptor relationships. I will submit written comments addressing most of my concerns on this topic. To establish credibility, the modeling must prove the methodology is accurate. The appendix to the Health Impact Chapter purports to validate the model for this reason. An air quality model verification analysis uses historical meteorology and emissions input to predict air quality concentrations, then compares those results with observed concentrations over the same time period. The draft does not do that. On page 813, A13, the draft states, quote, because model projections were only available starting with the year 2025, these results were compared against multiple years of observational data, unquote. That is just plain wrong. The verification statistics presented are worthless. It means that the health benefit claims are unsupportable. If this is any indication of the quality of the science and the pathways analysis, then the draft should be withdrawn and revised. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comment. Next, we have Elizabeth McCorvey. And no one as of yet is scheduled to speak afterwards. But at this point, Elizabeth, let me invite you to unmute to make your comment.
Good afternoon. This is Elizabeth McCorvey with the Family Resource Center of Peekskill. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I would like to just ask the state to please keep in mind, I know NYSERDA has the energy hubs for people to sign up for, but we have been lost in the shuffle. And if we're lost in the shuffle and we're representing our disadvantaged communities in the Mid-Hudson region, there should be another alternative if the energy hubs in our area are too busy, that maybe we can get another energy hub in the state, or maybe there is another contractor that the state can work with. That way that nobody is left out, especially in light of the laws that were passed stating that the carbon reduction measures have to be reduced by a certain percentage by 30, year 30, and etc. So I think it's discrimination if people are blocked, and we are a disadvantaged advisor with the state, and I'm just saying we've had issues, so we appreciate you guys doing something about it so that everybody can come to the table, have an equitable equality with coming to the table and get these clean energy upgrades. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comment. At this point, we do not yet have anyone present who has registered to make comment. If you have not made comment yet and you would like to, again, repeating what I've shared before, please enter your name, your email, the organization you represent, if that's applicable, and let us know if you need language interpretation support in ASL or Spanish into the Q&A function window. and the facilitator will confirm and add you to the list. At this point, we still do not have another commenter in queue, but we will give some time to see if anyone joins and registers. Okay, still no one is registered. We'll give another minute or so. We'll definitely stay online, but just for active engagement here. I think we will pause for a short period of time if we do not get anyone shortly, but we'll remain online and keep an eye if anyone does register to make comment. Just to revisit the people who did pre-register to speak, just in case you are here and didn't have indication that your name is clearly shown so that we know to call on you. Or if you know them and you want to let them know that they did register to speak, I'll share the names of those who are pre-registered to speak, but we do not yet see them here in our meeting. Starting with 3 names here, there's Charles Nicastro. Again, there's Charles Nicastro. Charles Thomas, and Bridge Roush. The last name was Bridge Roush. Additionally, registered but not present that we see was Catherine Kruger. Again, Catherine Kruger. And Portland Jackson. Again, Portland Jackson. Pleased to see that there are a number of folks that did register and have already spoken, so thank you again for your comments. Okay, other folks that did pre-register to speak, but we have not yet seen that they are online to make comment today. 2 more names right now. Mary Finnernan. Again, Mary Finnernan. And lastly, Adam Flint. Again, Adam Flint. Oh, okay. Just noted that we do have someone who did request to make comments. That is Keith Shue. So at this point in time, let me invite Keith to unmute to make comment.
Hello, I'm Keith Shue with New York Energy and Climate Advocates. I'm going to quote from a great New Yorker, Billy Joel. Honesty is such a lonely word. Everyone is so untrue. Honesty is hardly ever heard and mostly what I or we need from you. There is a lot of good to be said about how this plan levels with the public about the challenges of deep decarbonization. It is more realistic. It admits for the first time that electrification could cost consumers more money, and it discusses the benefits of building additional clean, firm nuclear power. That is commendable, and we applaud you for that honesty. However, the plan could be more truthful about how we got here. It blames inflation and COVID and Donald Trump. But in reality, the prior Climate Action Council scenarios could never have worked even under the best of circumstances. We believe your energy plan needs to be as honest as our governor, who has correctly and directly said that without more nuclear, we will keep burning gas. She's right, and it's time to just say that. Your additional actions pathway suggests that we could have a zero-emission grid by 2040 or 2045. That's with intermittent solar and wind generating up to 140 terawatt hours annually, buttressed by just 1 terawatt hour of battery storage and merely 1 terawatt hour of gap filling deep for backup. There's no way that works, not in a real grid. Interestingly, it also adds about 7 gigawatts of new peakers or combined cycle combustion, suggesting, I think tongue-in-cheek, that those new plants might burn hydrogen. In the real world, when backup from solar and wind is needed a lot more than your models predict, they'll be burning frac gas, and I think you know that. Again, it's time to be honest. Unless we invest in reliable, high-capacity factor nuclear, gas will be our future. Yes, nuclear requires upfront investment and it takes time to deploy, but without it, we will never, never have a zero-emission grid, and gas plants in disadvantaged communities will keep burning gas. In 2022, NYSERDA found in its analysis for the scoping plan that New York could actually benefit from 4 gigawatts of advanced nuclear, so let's aim for that. Please do some realistic modeling and listen to Governor Hochul, who has been more honest than anyone about how vital nuclear power is to our climate, our economy, and our future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your comment. At this point, we do not have anyone else in queue. I encourage folks to take advantage of the Q&A function to share your name and email and organization if applicable, to register to make comments if you would like to do so. Okay, seeing that we do not have anyone yet registered or requested in queue to make comments, we are not going to end the webinar at this point in time, but we are going to pause the public hearing on the draft state energy plan as we wait for additional commenters to arrive. Again, if you would like to make comment, please use the Q&A feature and provide your full name, the name of your organization that you're representing if that's applicable, and if you need Spanish or ASL interpretation support. So again, we're going to pause the meeting for a while and give some time for folks to join and register to make comments. Thank you very much. We do now have someone who is registered to make comments. So at this point in time, let me invite Deborah Porter to unmute to make comment. Deborah?
Hi there. Thanks for listening to me for a few minutes. I just wanted to talk about nuclear energy. My opinion and the opinion of my organization is that nuclear energy is too expensive. We're spending billions of dollars for cleanup waste. And Indian Point, which is right near where I live, is a permanent nuclear waste dump now. We have 70 canisters of nuclear waste stored there. And we have another problem, which is that the governor, from my understanding, is planning to ask for a $30 billion bond. And it seems like the companies that want to do nuclear energy want the taxpayers to pay it. And everyone where I live is getting these huge electric bills, $800 to $1,000 a month. And nuclear energy is the most expensive energy on the planet. If you look at the levelized cost of energy report by Lazard Frere, wind, solar, and battery storage are not only cheaper, but going down all the time. And it is not true that you can't have 100% reliable renewable energy. And when I say renewable, I'm not including nuclear because it's not really a renewable energy source. And the reason the fossil fuel companies and the nuclear people are fighting wind and solar is because they can't sell sun and they can't sell wind. There's no way to monetize it for them. So, I feel like that this plan of the governor to have more nuclear energy, it's not good for our health and it's not good for our pocketbooks. And I think she's making a huge mistake because she's listening to donors. And I hope that you'll take my comments seriously. I think you have the duty to care about the cost of energy.
So, all right, I do not yet see anyone else in the queue. I thank everyone who's made their comments. Appreciate the adherence and understanding for our consistency and our 2-minute timing for comments. And again, we do encourage folks to share their comments in multiple ways, and we'll have that information available to you so that you can share your comments. There is information actually shown on the bottom of the slide right now to the website location where you can find information about how to submit your written comments in a number of forms. And there's also a link for additional hearings that are coming up. We are going to give some time here to see if anyone else registers to make comment. As stated before, if you do want to register to make comment, please enter your information into the Q&A function. Let's give a few more seconds here to see if anyone jumps on into the queue to make comment before we go into the pause. All right, seeing that we don't have anyone else yet in the queue to make comments, we are going to pause just for a period of time, just to see if anyone else does join. The information is shown here on our pause screen for your information to share if you would like to register to make comments. We are going to enter the pause phase. Again, I thank everyone who has made comments so far and do encourage participants to let us know if you'd like to make comments. At this point, we are going to pause for at least several moments to give some time for people to register. I'll give the opportunity to our wonderful board members that are present here today. If they need to pause, go off screen to take a glass of water or other function, they're invited to do so. But we are going to keep the webinar live. And if you'd like to stay, please do. We'll come back. And if we do not have any commenters additionally, we will come back on live and close out in a short period of time. Thank you all. All right. We do have an additional commenter who registered to make comment. That is Isuru Seneviratne. And so at this point in time, let me invite Isuru Seneviratne to make your comment. Please unmute.
Thank you so much. My name is Isuru Seneviratne. I'm speaking on behalf of Nuclear New York, which is an independent, nonpartisan advocacy organization working towards a prosperous, decarbonized future and nature conservation. In 2022, Nuclear New York co-authored a alternate policy proposal for New York called Bright Future, a more reliable and responsible climate plan for New York. And this was making the case that nuclear energy should be the foundation for New York's carbon-free grid, and that would ensure reliable, affordable, and sustainable decarbonization. We know nuclear provides well-paying multi-generational jobs for skilled tradesfolk and enable vibrant and healthy communities and steady tax revenues. A Made in America nuclear program offers a strong solution to the energy security challenges facing the state and the country, including our reliance on foreign supply chains and intermittent energy technologies. Nuclear is the energy source with the lowest greenhouse gas emissions and smallest land footprint. Nuclear is also among the least impactful with respect to mining, materials, and toxicity to humans. So expansion of nuclear would enable the responsible build out of solar and wind resources, conserving nature and productive farmland for, and even NYSERDA's own analysis from 2022 showed that build out of 4 gigawatts would save billions of dollars for New Yorkers and save land and resources. So we recommend extending the license of our existing nuclear plants and considering up to half of our electricity come from firm, clean generation sources, be it hydro, geothermal, nuclear, or other. As we know, the more
Sure, thank you so
favorable
much for your
energy sources
comment.
we have.
I do hope that you'll submit your comment, the rest of your comment in written form. We do have the information on the slides to do so.
Great, thank you.
I still say at this point in time, we're checking to see if we have anyone else in queue to make comment. Okay, we're still not seeing that there's anyone registered to make comment at this point in time. We do have the information again in chat to enter your information into the Q&A function window, sharing your name, your email address, and your organization so that you can make your comments here. Of course, all comments are given equal weight, including those submitted in written form, and there's information at the bottom of the screen shown right now that you can go to identify a number of ways that you can submit written comment. Again, please note that this hearing today is for receiving comments directly by verbal form. If you enter comments into Q&A, that is not sufficient, so please do use the forms of comment that's available to us through the Energy Plan website. Just giving additional time in case there's someone who would like to register to make comment. Okay, we're still not seeing that there's anyone in queue. We are allowing time for folks to register.
Good afternoon. This is Doreen Harris, Chair of the State Energy Planning Board. Jeff, I do want to ask if we could afford the members of the board who are here an opportunity to just say a few words, and then I know we'll be working to leave this hearing open for any additional commenters. But just if that's okay, I'd like to just see if any of my fellow members have any thoughts to share.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you. All right, I'll start with Chair Christian. Any reflections as you conclude your participation in this hearing?
Well, one, I want to thank everyone for taking the time to come and join the hearing. I definitely appreciate the diversity of viewpoints and very much view this as a informative session through which we've heard a lot of different views and directions with which we could take the state energy plan. Much of what was discussed today at some point or another does cross paths with the Public Service Commission. And so I appreciate the feedback and input and look forward to how this will work with developing the future plan as we are working on it now. So thank you for the opportunity, Chair Harris, and thank you everyone for coming here today.
Thank you. Rich?
Thank you, Doreen, and thank you everyone for the comments today. This is a really useful and productive opportunity to hear how folks see the plan, how they feel about the plan, and I appreciate all the passion and interest that goes into the comments. Obviously, these are very important topics for everyone. But thank you for taking the time and letting me share my thoughts. Thanks, Doreen.
Thank you. Finally, Mr. Suggs.
Thank you, Doreen. I want to thank everyone for allowing me to participate today. I think it was it was very important to hear the feedback from our constituents and their concerns. And thank you very much. And we'll move forward. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Jeff, if it's okay, I'll say a few words, and I know we will want to keep this hearing open for the period of time, but to my fellow members, thank you for joining. Feel free to continue your day. But for everyone else, just wanting you to know that we are continuing to accept public comments through October 6th, 2025, and they can be submitted via online form, email, or postal mail. You also can continue to provide comments at another hearing. Our next hearing is actually in person in the Hudson Valley on the 16th of September from 5 to 7 p.m. You can find more details on submitting written comments and attending hearings on our State Energy Plan website. And if we turn to the next slide, you'll see the remainder of the hearing schedule as well. So again, we have a number of in-person hearings coming up over the next couple of weeks, as well as another virtual option for the public to provide comments. So with that, I know, Jeff, I will hand it back to you. I know you'd like to keep the hearing open, but I'd like to thank everyone for the comments that you've provided and for representing your interests before the State Energy Planning Board.
Thank you so much, Chair Harris, and to the members of the Planning Board. Yes, we will keep the webinar open. We'll keep an eye out if there's any people who would like to have their comment recorded, and we will do so until the scheduled 1 p.m. closing time. But thank you so much. Yeah, it'd be great if we could return back up to our pause slide so that folks know that they can still register to make comment. Thank you so much. Hi, folks. This is Jeff. Just confirming that this webinar is still live. The public hearing is still live. We have this slide up in case anyone wants to make comment. You can still enter your information into the Q&A function. So if you would like to make comment, we are keeping this public hearing open. It's still open. Hello, everybody. We do have an additional commenter who is registered to make comment. So that is Paul Imbert. So at this point in time, Paul, let me invite you to unmute to make your comment. And just again, out of consistency across all our hearings, you have 2 minutes to make your comment. Paul?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. My question is that nearly everybody I speak with here is against this electrification. I'm up in Buffalo or near Buffalo, and with our strong lake winds and these devastating winter storms that we sometimes get where we can't even get out of our homes, and everything's shut down, and the power grid, according to many of the experts, doesn't seem to be ready for this. So my question is that what do you think you're going to see when these storms come along and we lose power and people are in their homes for 3 days without electricity?
We are just receiving comments, Paul, but so if that's the extent of your comment, that will be put on records and will be shared with the planning board and be considered for the final plan. But do you have any additional comment?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your comment.
Thank you.
Very glad to have another comment. Again, we are open to receive information from people who would like to make comments. Use the Q&A function, as others have done, to enter your information, your name, your email, the organization you're representing, if that's applicable, and if you need language support, and we'll call on you to make your comment. Hello, everyone. We are still open. The public hearing is still active. So if you would like to make comment, register to make comment, please enter your information into the Q&A function window. We do have an additional speaker that did register to speak. So I want to invite Dietmar Dietering to make a comment. So Dietmar, please unmute to make your comment. And again, just for consistency, you have 2 minutes to make your comment.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Dietmar Detering, and I'm the chair of Nuclear New York. We support a clean, affordable, and reliable energy future for New York, for us now, and for generations to come. New York's ambitious climate goals are vital to reduce emissions, protect our environment, and ensure our economy thrives in a changing world. But ambition alone is not enough. We need an energy plan that is realistic, one that acknowledges both the potential of renewables and the limitations they face, especially when it comes to firm, always-on power. That's why I strongly support including nuclear power, existing and advanced technologies in the state energy plan. Nuclear energy generates large-scale, carbon-free power with high reliability. It provides baseload and dispatchable generation, filling in gaps when wind and solar are unavailable. Removing nuclear from the table would risk increasing reliance on fossil fuels or, conversely, requiring such massive storage and overbuild of renewables that costs and environmental trade-offs grow ever larger. However, achieving a sustainable clean energy transition depends not just on choosing technologies. It depends on earning and keeping public trust. For this transition to last, it must have support across regions, political affiliations, socioeconomic groups, urban and rural alike. That means balancing many interests: costs, environmental impact, land use, community health, workforce impacts, local economic development, and preserving nature. Generational equity matters. The decisions we make now will affect not only our children, but their children. If we push too hard with strategies that burden some communities, elevate risk, or ignore long-term costs, we erode the political and social coalitions that are essential to sustain progress. Conversely, a balanced, transparent plan that engages people, respects trade-offs, and shares both costs and benefits broadly will build durable support over time. In closing, I urge the Energy Planning Board to retain and strengthen the nuclear component of the plan, both preserving existing plans and planning for advanced nuclear technologies. And I urge to ensure that community voices are centered, that trade-offs are honestly addressed, and that the plan is.
Thank you so much again for your comment. And just as I said before, please submit the rest of your comment in writing. And the information, the instructions are available here. The links to find ways to submit written comment. And all comments are treated with equal weight in the evaluation for inclusion or reflection in the final plan. We do not at this point have anyone else in queue, but we are going to keep the public hearing open to our scheduled time of 1 p.m. So if you are interested in making comment, please do share your information in the Q&A function window. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Again, the public hearing is still open. If you'd like to register to make comments, we are happy to receive it, and it'll be recorded and shared with the Energy Planning Board and those working on the plan. Please do let us know if you want to make comment, though. If you want to make written comment, the Q&A function is not for that. There are instructions for the ways to submit your written comment, either by form, by email, or by letter, by postal submission. If anyone else registers to make comments, the team and I are happy to receive you. Great. Hello again. Again, let me repeat that information sent to the Q&A, if it's a comment, it's not being recorded and passed along. If you do have written comment, there are multiple ways to share that written comment. That the instructions are available at the Energy Plan website. We'll put that back up on a slide at the end. But if you do search for the Energy Plan New York State, you'll get to the location where you can submit comments, and it's also available in the chat that we've shared out with folks. The Q&A function is just for receiving information at this point in time for folks who want to register to make comments. And we do have somebody who did share their information, and that is Nancy Van. And so at this point in time, let me invite Nancy to unmute and make your comment. Nancy?
Yes, I really wonder why at a time when our utility bills are so high, the governor is focusing on the very most expensive way to make electricity, that is nuclear plants. Not only are they the most expensive, but they take the longest to implement. So they are not going to be ready in time for to help us with climate change. In fact, every dollar spent on a nuclear plant could buy multiple times more in terms of real renewables, that is, solar, wind, and storage. And every year that it takes, every extra year that it takes, which would be 7 or 8 years longer than it would take to implement solar or wind, every extra year is that many more years with fossil fuels putting greenhouse gases into our air. And this just doesn't make economic sense. I'm a retired Wall Street lawyer. I don't think that anybody in a level economic playing field would make that choice to spend more, to get less, to take longer, and to actually harm what we're claiming to be trying to fight, to harm the fight against climate change. So I don't understand it. I hope that she will reconsider this. And this isn't about, any of the other problems about the nuclear waste, which is very expensive, the mining of for uranium, which has really bad health costs and its own greenhouse gases. So this is just to focus on our utility bills and the money needed to fight against climate change. So thank you.
By written form, so we get the full. So thank you so much for your comment.
Okay.
We see no one else that's currently in queue, but the team is here and ready to receive information through the Q&A chat function if you would like to make a comment. Hi again, everyone. We still have no one additional in the queue to make comment, but just letting you know that we do have just 10 minutes left in the public hearing. The team is still here to receive your request to make comment through the Q&A function window, and we're happy to acknowledge you to make comments. But still, we're going to just remain in pause for the next 10 minutes before we close out the hearing. Thank you very much. Hello again, everybody. Again, this is Jeff Tomansky with Arch Street Communications. I want to thank everyone who's participated in today's public hearing. Thank the chair and NYSERDA representatives who gave the overview of the plan, and the Energy Planning Board members who were here, but especially thank everyone who participated from the public and made comment today. So thank you so much. We're sharing on screen right now the locations and dates and times for the upcoming in-person public hearings, as well as our last virtual hearing, which will take place on the 30th. But to revisit what we have for upcoming in-person public hearings, on Tuesday, September 16th at 5 p.m., we have a public hearing in person at SUNY Dutchess, the community college. Then on the 17th, again in the evening, starting at 5 o'clock, we're at City Tech College in Brooklyn. And then on the 18th, we'll be for an 11 a.m. start. We're at Bronx Community College on the 18th, as I said. And then our last scheduled in-person hearing is at Stony Brook University on Long Island on the 29th, and that's again in the evening. Followed again by our last virtual hearing starting at 5 o'clock on Tuesday, September 30th. We will put up now the locations that you can find information for submitting your public comments. Again, all comments received, whether verbally or written in the multiple forms that they can be submitted written, are given equal weight and by evaluation by the teams working on the plan for the final plan development. And with that, there's the information. Great, thank you so much. I want to thank everyone again for participating in today's hearing. Comments are being gathered and considered through October 6th, 2025. And here is the information. There's an online comment form. There's an email that you can use. That's nysenergyplan@nyserda.ny.gov. And the postal address for mailed-in comments is shown below to State Energy Plan comments to NYSERDA, 17 Columbia Circle, Albany, New York, 12203-6399. And with that, and a final thanks to all and the team supporting this, I will now close today's public hearing. Thank you all.